Okay, Catherine, take it away.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the sixth presentation in the Virtual History series presented by Baltimore Heritage and the Baltimore Architecture Foundation. My name is Catherine Lepage. I'm the current BAF president. I'm reporting live from my living room in Woodbury. First, thank you to everyone who donated to be with us today. Your support has been vital as we continue to work from home and deliver virtual programs. Before I introduce Jessica, I'd like to plug our upcoming presentations. I hope you'll join us next Friday as Lisa Kerr takes us on a virtual tour of the Garrett Jacobs Mansion, today the home of the Engineers Club. And on June 26th, we're teaming up with the Baltimore Museum of Industry on a timely panel discussion about how workplaces will be designed in the post-COVID workplace. Registration is open for both programs at www.baltimorearchitecture.org. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Jessica Damseaux. Jessica is a principal at Alexander Design Studio and was project manager and project architect for the adaptive reuse renovation of the Fox building. Jessica is a thoughtful designer who really thrives on working through complex, messy renovations that require care and attention to detail. Over the past decade, she has been working to bring a new lease on life for many of the underappreciated historic mills in the Jones Falls River Valley. Starting with mill number 1, then moving to Fox, and now lastly finishing Whitehall, she has really made an impact in the valley, and she's running out of mills. When she's not sweating over the details for her projects, you can find her hiking with her family or volunteering her time within the community. One final note, please add any questions you have for Jess to the Zoom chat box, and we will get to as many as we can after the presentation. With that, I turn this over to Jessica.
Great. All right, I think I'm waiting to share my slides, so let's see. All right, so I'm sharing my slide now. Excuse us. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming and listening to me talk about the history of the Fox building. This is a project that we worked on back in 2016. We worked with the Time Group and the Fox family to restore and reinvent this early 20th century streamlined modern style warehouse building into loft style apartments and artist studio space. So I can kind of take you through the history a little bit. Second, make sure I'm on the right screen here. All right, so just to locate everybody, the Fox building is located in Hampden, Baltimore, just blocks away from the avenue. It's readily visible from the on-ramp to 83 at Falls Road. I'm sure you've all kind of taken note of this historic building. So just to kind of give you a history of the building, the building was built by George E. Bunting, who was the founder of Noxzema. George graduated from the Maryland College of Pharmacy in Baltimore and started his career at Ross's drugstore on North Avenue, which he later purchased from Ross in 1904. George started creating his own creams, lotions, and remedies around 1905, but they really took off in 1909 with his vanishing creams. His first major success was Dr. Bunting's Sunburn Cream, a locally made and nationally sold miracle cream of Baltimore. The cream contained simple, all-natural ingredients and was distributed in the classic small blue jars. The name of the cream was later changed to Noxzema when a customer told him, "The cream knocked my eczema," hence no eczema, Noxzema. There you go. So just to kind of walk you through the evolution of the building and where he was. So with business booming, he decided to grow his operations and eventually relocated to a one-story plus partial basement building on 3100 Falls Cliff Road. This was back in 1926. The two-story building was constructed to house both the company's offices and their factory production. The entrances to the offices were at the far uphill side. I'm just gonna note it up here in green. And George actually decided to relocate a portion of his storefront from the Ross's drugstore just inside the main entrance. This was kind of in this general, like the first window bay here. The vignette wasn't in place when we toured the building in 2016, but we kind of had a hint of where it had been based on some historic drawings that we found on site. So over the next 2 decades, a series of additions would continuously expand the factory in order to keep up with and mirror the exponential growth of the company's sales. In 1931, a 2-story modern style seamless brick addition with concrete floors, which was designed by local architects Mackenzie and Cross, was constructed. And that pretty much doubled the existing size of the factory. This is pretty much all in that the green box. So in 1948, Bunting expanded the Noxzema factory northward again, doubling it from its current size. The 1948 edition, referred to here as like the North Building, is where they basically grew downhill. Bunting retired in 1948, but Noxzema kept growing. In 1950, still in need of more space, they added a 3rd floor addition to the same building. This is it was shown in purple. These same design features and materials were continued in 1963 when the North Building's boiler room received this kind of a small southern extension. This is the space, the building called the Annex in orange. So from there, the building remained Noxzema's headquarters until about 1966. From there, Douglas Fox, who founded Fox Industries back in 1969, eventually brought this building to develop and produce concrete additives, coatings, sealants, and waterproofing. So thanks for listening to that long history. But what we really wanted to kind of talk about was the series of additions that were built into the steep hill. You can see here, they served to keep the building above the Jones Falls floodplain. The original building from the 1920s was built at the top of the hill. When we first toured the building, the office wing was tenuously connected to the warehouse portion of the building. Stitching together all of these levels changes was one of the major challenges for kind of adaptively reusing this building. So I wanted to kind of give you a view of the overall site plan and how it exists now. The public entrance for the residences, which we started back in 2016, is along Falls Cliff. This was the strategic, as we wanted to reuse an existing loading dock as our main entrance. We also needed to make a stronger connection between the 3 wings. So our primary intervention was a new stair that connected these 3 different levels. You can see here in the orange connect little symbol. A second entrance at the rear of the south building provides convenience for residences. The second one next to the pool here. We took advantage of the off-hill condition to create a separate entrance for the artist studios, which is visible from Falls Road. The exterior of the factory over the course of the various additions is unified by its smooth stucco finish, which was added at the time of the 1931 addition, which you see here. The large opening from the original loading dock provided an opportunity for new modern entrance without affecting the historic windows. So looking at the building from the uphill parking lot side, the siloed dunnage structure and loading docks were added after the last addition in 1966, which we needed to remove to gain entry to the central lobby from the parking lot. We wanted to keep the chimney as a key feature, which we restored and included as kind of a central pivot point of the pool area. Fun note, we did find a lot of broken blue jars when excavating for the pool at the existing parking lot. We tried to salvage as many as possible and have them on us. We were going to display them on site. In an area known more for its traditional brick mill structures, the building is notable within the Hampden Historic District for its streamlined modern style architecture qualities in both the original and these downhill portions of as we call the North Building. The architectural style is characterized with such features as cubic massing with little ornamentation, flat roofs featuring step parapets with copings, some roofs with metal shiplap railings, large square shaped openings with metal windows, as well as glass blocks and a smooth stucco finish. This view is taken from Falls Road next to 83. We wanted to take advantage of the existing loading dock openings again, and filled with glass to provide light to the lowest level of the north building. It also allows for transparency to see the gallery space at the studio entrance. The owners, Dominic Booker in particular, worked with a muralist to activate the existing retaining wall along Falls Road. Taking a look inside at the lowest level of the north building, you can see these sloped walls keep the hill back, and they also create a natural divider between the artist studios. The owner hired the same muralist to create interior murals at each elevator landing to help orient the tenants and kind of give back as well. So the Noxzema factory featured these both large multi-light steel factory windows, as well as the glass block over the heavy steel frame. A number of the openings had been boarded up with plywood or damaged by plantings, which overwhelmed the structure. So part of our renovation was to restore these openings with new aluminum windows and replace the damaged glass block. The size of the glass block is no longer available. So what a lot of places we had to, and we wanted to kind of match the color of the original. So what we ended up doing was taking glass block from non-primary facades, so either the back and rear, and replacing broken glass block on the primary streets. And then we did find some replacement glass block to kind of infill the non-primary sides. So each opening now kind of looks cohesively clean and renovated. Another kind of key feature of this era of the early 20th century was these mushroom columns. And we really wanted to kind of express and keep the mushroom columns visible. So the units are designed to, and the hallway walls in particular are designed to step back so those capitals remain visible. We uplit them, so just to kind of provide more dynamics to that view. You can see here, this is the existing columns before the renovation. On one floor, you know, the majority of the factory is kind of coated in this orange texture, and the first floor had fiberglass production from what they were doing with Fox. So part of the restoration was just kind of cleaning, honestly. You can see here in orange how appropriate, how those columns weave through the structure. So we also wanted to take advantage of the tall heights in this in the north building in particular. So a lot of the units are designed as loft spaces. Because of the concrete structure, we were actually able to hang these lofts from the ceiling and to create a really open floor plan and unique design, I think. And then just kind of circling back to the lobby, this is where we started from the loading dock area, but we enjoyed this project so much. Thank you for listening in. I'm sorry for struggling a little bit, and let me know if you guys have any questions.
So Jessica, the first question that we have is, did you get any whiffs of Noxzema as you walk through the building?
So a funny story, Noxzema has been long gone, unfortunately, but there was a very strong scent from the Fox building and the kind of concrete additives that they were making there, in particular the fiberglass. I was doing kind of the initial site surveys as a pregnant woman, and I was a little bit scared by all that fiberglass. And it was a tough condition in particular the lowest floor of the building. But there was no sense of Noxzema was long gone. The only trace we found was the light blue bottles.
How many apartments are in the building?
96.
Another question, were you able to obtain historic tax credits?
Yes, the project did go after National Park Service, historic tax credits, and local as well. So and I believe Maryland too. So we did go through that process.
There was a question asked if the Fox building it to the Fox building at Micah?
I don't believe there is a connection, not that I know of. The Foxes were kind of came to Baltimore in 1960, the 1950s, 1960s, and then the Foxes remain partial owners of the building, but I believe they kind of stayed in the concrete world. I don't know.
There is a bunting building. There is a
bunting might be
at
a
Micah,
connection.
so
yeah,
you have a
there might be
little bit of a
there.
connection.
Yeah.
Are there any sustainable features?
So I think honestly, the kind of biggest sustainable feature was reusing the majority of the structure. We did not have to do much to the structure. It was in really great condition. I think partly I'd have to thank the Foxes for keeping it so well maintained. So the concrete floors were refinished. We did not have to, supply new finishes for a lot of the area. And then, so the one, unfortunately, we had to, for National Park Service standards, we had to keep most of the exterior walls exposed, and the original kind of view of that warehouse building, maintain it. So, we did focus on new windows, energy efficient windows, and kind of sealing those, but we couldn't add insulation, unfortunately.
There are a lot of questions coming in about the apartments. Number of apartments, are they loft style? The sizes, how many of them are occupied?
I don't have the current occupancy. If only Dominic was on, I'm sure he'd like to weigh in on that.
Dominic is actually here. But
hey, Dominic. Maybe he can chat and tell us how it's currently occupied. But there's 96 units. There a lot of them are loft style, or what we call they're kind of raised junior one bedrooms. So they're essentially large one bedroom apartments. The majority of them. There are some 2 bedrooms as well. I believe it's well occupied. I don't have the current rates.
Dominic did give a shout out to say that they do have a solar array on the roof as well as far as
they did that after
features.
Thank you, Dominic.
Okay, so in converting old mills into modern spaces, what is the biggest challenge?
I think I would say just letting the building shine and not doing too much to overwhelm the old building, to really let it still sing. So kind of the approach of taking being minimalist with how you intervene with it. So, when we have, in this case, we were lucky that we had some large, loading dock entrances that we could reuse as a modern entrance. We did not have to reach hard for that. And it kind of gave us a light touch, and the additions are obvious. We weren't trying to match the old. So I think just letting the old building sing is the key.
So it looks like it is currently about 95% leased up. So a popular destination to live. And Nathan has provided a link to the website for the building if anyone wants to check out more information about it or see floor plans. It's in the chat. And it looks like there's even some more additional information in the chat about the range of rents and other information if you are looking for more information.
If you're a place to go.
Yeah. There is another person who gave you a shout out, Jess. They live right around the corner, and they thank you for helping to save this amazing industrial building.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited to have it occupied. I think, changing it to an apartment, the nice thing is that, some of the damage that happened to the building, there was the glass block was shot in places and damaged. Just having good tenants, I think we'll keep this building preserved over the long haul.
So we still have some time left, but I'm out of questions. So if anyone has any other questions, please add them to the chat.
We like to keep it short and sweet here, so. Hope you all learned something. Thanks for coming.
Oh, one more question. Did you consider condos?
Now the owner, I believe, because of the tax credits, I believe we had to do apartments, and
what kind of views do you get from inside the building?
there are some lovely views up from the upper levels, kind of down towards the city and the water. One of our original plans was we would hope to occupy the roof with, you know, an outdoor patio, et cetera. But, you know, costs kind of came in too high to be able to do that. But there are some really lovely off-hill conditions facing down to downtown.
What is the next project that you may be working on? What are you working on?
So we've got a bunch of little things going on at Alexander Design Studio. We have another apartment building that Catherine is also working on in Wilmington. I'm working on a small library. And then, you know, we actually hope to have a couple other adaptive reuse projects coming into our office. We love them, and they're really fun. So, you know, fingers crossed.
And also, if anyone wants to go and check out other mills, the Whitehall Market is now officially open, and they have a lot of really good snacks.
Yeah, the Whitehall Market is open. That is correct. And true. Yeah.
Question about artist studios. Do you know about how that works? Are they for residents only, or?
No. So the artist studio space, maybe Dominic can chime in on the person to reach out to, but there's a manager who can rent space to artists who are interested in, and it's kind of like a co-working space for artists. It's very open. They're not closed off. It's the idea was to create a community for artists, and you know, an affordable space. We had looked at some postgraduate studio space, or actually graduate studio space. And, you know, a lot of those people coming out of graduate programs needed some place to go. They couldn't do their art at home. And so this was kind of a nice fit, a small space to be able to stash your table and do your art. So reach out to.
Well, I think the property manager is on here. Brittany just gave some contact information with the phone number. It looks like they have 3 open now if anyone's looking to escape their home to work elsewhere.
Yeah.
And then one more question. Industrial buildings tend to be considered ugly. How do you make them attractive without losing the character?
So for us, I found this building always quite beautiful. You know, it was in simplicity in that form. I think restoring the glass block was key, and then restoring the windows and making them kind of cohesive and, you know, what they had been. And, you know, the other thing we did choose to do was, there was a light color paint tone that I think that refinished the stucco, to a really nice level. So, you know, I think it's really the windows would be my key.
Okay, that looks like all of our questions. Thank you everyone for attending today. And Nathan will be uploading this to the YouTube page in the next day or two. So you can rewatch it if you want, or check out any of the previous virtual histories.
Thanks so much, everybody. Good one.